That was the first place where I encountered the devotees. And it made such an impression on my mind that I came back later to look for them there. I mean, the first time I was there, maybe I didn't go look for the devotees exactly, whatever, looking for something. But then once I caught hold that there was these monks, and they were there, and we said, let's go back and see them and find them again. So actually, so in that way, I just, the point was just that I know that me, but the Bhushan Swami, he also, they contacted him there, and I don't know if the others maybe also had some contact with the devotees, with the Harinam in Repavan. Of course, they didn't carry on with the Harinam and Repavan because it got too heavy. It was too heavy. But it did have positive effects. So that's it. So it's like a challenge, you know, how much should you say, no, we don't go there and we don't go there. Well, sometimes the devotees just go anywhere in the mood of saving the most fallen. Okay, but still, here there is different influences. So maybe for a short period, the devotees could go to the Repavan, but then they decided it was too much, and they went to other places that was more peaceful, a little bit more sattvic. Well, there was people also chanting and hearing and distributing books and magazines. If you're going to build a temple, also, like we have, you're going to try to. Well, this place is quite okay, I think. At Hamburg school, we have this temple building. There was an experimental barn for cows. And that's maybe okay, you know, you turn it and then it's the same thing in Zagreb. They had it was old, not a butcher shop, if not even this, they killed animals there or something, but they had a temple there. It's a nice temple. Nice building, looks great, the whole thing, but somehow the road is quarreling and things are going on. At the Almi school we have that building, we try to turn it, but then we end up putting the main entrance to the temple is from the Vastu point of view in a completely wrong place. And then from that point of view, it's not, you know, it doesn't really take off in the way we hope. So, of course we say, well, who cares for that? We just chant Hare Krishna. But then at the same time we take a little bit care what the things are. If we're going to build a temple, let's put it in an auspicious place. Let's the entrance face an auspicious direction. Let the deed is done in a more auspicious, whatever, looking in the right way and like that. So that we can say, in that way, maybe we can amplify the effect of the daily worship, of the chanting and of the spiritual activities, by putting it more in a harmonious place that you can amplify it. But it's always good to chant. So it's Kali Yuga, and then we know this also, Kali Yuga is bad, everything is bad. But there's one good thing, and that's the chanting the holy name. Let's see if I have that words in this book. Okay, the glories of Kali Yuga, the glorious age, the Iron Age, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes his appearance to spread the chanting of the holy name, pure devotion to Krishna. Kaledosa Videha Jan Asti Yeku Mahanguna Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Paramrajat. My dear King, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age, it's the ocean of faults. If you want to find faults, no problem. That's the ocean. Prabhupada said, if you want to find faults with me, you will find faults with me also, Prabhupada said. I've heard it said, so to say. And some do find fault with Prabhupada also, so to say. So if you want to find fault, you can find. Let's find the let's find the good things. And the good thing is this: all the Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. There is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So that is the one good quality in this age. And thus it says that these demigods in the mode of goodness here described, the statement is that the desire to take birth in this age of Kali, maybe specifically at this time, because the Sankirtan movement is specifically going on now. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started 500 years ago and was supposed to continue for another 10,000 years. Of these 432,000 years, that's 10,000 years in the beginning. That is like a golden age in the age of Kali. And then after that it gets really dark. And then we may ask what that really dark will look like compared with what we have now. But still, so in this age, so they said that the demigods actually desired to take birth in this age to be part of the Sankirtan movement. Because it's such a favorable, if you now want to make progress in spiritual life and maximum progress in minimum of time, then join the Hare Krishnas in this age of Kali. So that we can say, looking for the right time, the right spot to get the most out of your, endeavor. We can take that, because then there is a 52, the word next verse, it relates to that, it says, Kriteya jayato vishnum tretayam jayato makai vapare parichayayam kalautad darikirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dvapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is because in Satya Yuga, whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu or Krishna, well that is. But in Satya Yuga, the people, the statement is that they live 100,000 years. And of these 100,000 years, they use some 70 or 80,000 years for meditating. Okay, so that's a lot of meditation, a lot of time spent on meditation. In Treta Yuga, by performing sacrifices. In Treta Yuga, the people live 10,000 years. The kings specifically made sacrifices, and these sacrifices were really spectacular. But you have to have it really get it. You have to really get it right. Okay, you can't space out with the mantras and whatever the place and time, and you need a lot of resources, and maybe the others could make some sacrifices also on a smaller scale. And then, what Prabhupada said, we could come to, we make some sacrifices at the time in initiation. We make a fire, a small area. And here, I don't know how much you do that here, but when I was that, where was that? Where was I now? Oh yes, in Zurich, I think it was. In Zurich, I have this Brahmana there, a devotee. He made more or less every weekend, he made some small sacrifice. Yes, he made it very nice with some cow dung, just a little bit small thing. But of course, all the Indians, the Tamil people, big Tamil creation, we call it community. Creation. What's that word? Congregation. It's a community. Congregation. That's the word. So they come there to have the first haircut in their child, or first grandchildren, and so they make the small sacrifices. But that is not exactly like it was in Treta Yuga. It doesn't have the same capacity. Because in Treta Yuga, when they made sacrifices, actually the demigods actually came and participated, and even Lord Vishnu came at occasions to participate and take the share of the sacrifice. So then you know you're doing it right when the demigods come. And then in Dwapara you are serving the Lord's lotus feet. So that we used to say that's the deity worship. You worship the deities. And there's another interesting thing. So now we're worshipping the deities, and certainly they inspire us, and there's a relationship, and something is going on in our worship as devotees. We feel it. There's a reciprocation. External is beautiful, attractive, and there's something else also going on. Then there was this interesting statement in a book, I think it was a book by Seneca. He was a thinker, philosopher in the Roman Empire. I think it was Nero, he was kind of advising, but he was like a philosopher or some kind of sadhu in those times. So he wrote at least one book. One book was about the shortness of life. And contemplations about the shortness of life, how people foolishly waste their time or something like that. And then but there was one statement that I found quite interesting. I wish you remember, he said, that the time, what he said, when the time when the gods came to speak with us, the deities was not made of gold and jewels. They were made by simple wood or clay or something like that. So that's interesting. There was a memory, at that time there was a memory of a time when they were, because the Romans, they worshipped the deities also, they had the deities and made pompous, the Roman the empire, the rich, they made pompous worship of their deities in various ways in temples. I mean, the temples are still some standing in Rome. But there was a time when the deities actually came and spoke to them. But that was a time, the deities was not made of gold and silver and jewels as they was in the time of the Romans. But they was made from more simple wood, I think wood and clay, something. So to achieve the effect, and they say when the deed is made simpler, in one sense it's more sattvic. Because then it's like rajasic, it should look good and it should be opulent and like that. There's a certain element of rajas. If you want to look good and you want others to see how rich you are, and all these kind of contaminations can come in. But that becomes a hindrance for the real flow that's meant to happen in the deed worship. I don't say no, you have to brass deeds, okay. Prabhupada also had this. He said he didn't recommend gold, ornaments and silver and all this kind of real jewels for the deeds. He was concerned, of course we maybe have that nowadays, maybe something, but he was concerned that the thieves were going to come and steal it. That's how it is in ancient Kali. But there was one temple, there is one temple in Kerala, South India, and I remember we went by there with Padayatra, and they had they were all big, huge Vishnu lying on his side, resting. So we have like free altar sections. First you can come and see his head, and then there's next to see his stomach, the middle part, and then the third part there is you can open so you can see his feet. But the point there was, that's beautiful, it's in black stone, very beautiful. And then they have this deity of the Lord, of Narayan, or they had that deity of Narayan, made from brass, where they every morning they were taking this one out, and there was an old Brahmana when we came by there, it was an old Brahmana coming out and making the worship and washing and polishing and whatever, making the worship and then putting that. And that would happen is some dacoits came and stole the deity because they thought it was gold. Because that's life. So it's sometimes good to keep it a little bit simple so that you don't attract the wrong kind of attention. But the point was that all these things were going on, or the deity worship, and actually the gods coming. But all this demonstrating this world that all the good things, whatever good we could achieve in the previous ages, by these different processes, that seems very fantastic and everything. You know, fantastic meditation, fantastic sacrifices, fantastic deity worship. It all can be achieved in this age, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra. So that is a great boon. And thus the demigods wants to take birth in this age. You know, short life, who knows how many decades you will live. You're not even meant to live 100 years. You may live 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe. But from the demigod's point of view, it's nothing. And in this short span of time, you can obtain the results what they are all achieved, maybe achieved by their meditation and worship and sacrifices. So therefore, we are lucky. We can say we're on the right time at the right place. In the age of Kali, just some 500, a little bit good 500 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, participating in Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan movement. And once this Sankirtan movement is chanting of Hare Krishna, it's like an incarnation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So through this movement we are participating and we're worshipping Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're on the right time, we're in the right place at the right time. And then we can take advantage of that and seriously engage in the chanting and the preaching, and thus make progress. And at the end of our life, our short lives, then maybe 100 years or more, or a little bit less, or whatever, is it short, we can then go back to the spiritual world. And then he said that in the first verse, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Haribo. Okay, any question or comment? Yes.
In your verses that it is said that, I don't know where I read it, I was told that the movement, that the ISKCON movement cannot be destroyed from outside, but only from inside. But is that really possible when, if some devotees, they will always keep the purity and following the Prabhupada, so how, just because that there are somebody who wants to, go against Prabhupada's desires or like from inside, but can you explain that, how it would ever be possible?
Well, as far as I know, Prabhupada made this statement, this movement can't be stopped by external powers, but by internal decay, or what we should call it. We space out, the body space out. But at the same time, so that if it would happen, it's because we, the devotees or whatever, go nuts. or getting totally covered by Tamandulo or Radhagun or something. But there is another factor also, the time, you can also say it is a time factor, because we're in the beginning, the golden age of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just like the demigods here, it says like the demigods, they are, when the sattva guna is prominent, then they also become strong. So there is some sattva, there's some kind of influence that gives strength to the movement. But also we can also, the movement or the chanting the holy name in some way is generating strength. Of course, as you said, yes, basically the point was, well, as long as there's some pure devotee, pure, in the sense purely motivated, purely or sincerely to keep going and chanting and hearing and preaching. Yes, no, it cannot be stopped. That's correct. Because, it's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. It's the Prabhupada's desire. And it's also at the right time. It's predicted. And then we can see also there may be different kind of problems here and there, and this and that. And I hear in Denmark and someone experience something that is problematic. So a little bit. So that what can you do? You can just go on with activities. Like in Sweden we had a lot of problems in the 80s, and problems that was unfortunate in many ways. But some of them we continue, and that just goes on. Krishna. A call from Krishna. It says, go on. Of course, it did have some negative effect, or schism in Sweden in the 80s. It did have a negative effect. But it didn't stop. It didn't stop the movement. So that way, the servants of Kali are in this movement also. And Prabhupada said it actually. As far as I remember, he said, well, there's demons in the movement also. He said like that. But then some say demons, okay. Maybe call those for the saints for the demons, and the demons will be called saints. And we try to manipulate the ones. But Prabhupada left the legacy of his books and tapes and everything. And that way it's a strong foundation on which the movement can go on. And then we also have this as Srila Prabhupada, but not being in relationship to Srila Prabhupada, and also in relationship to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, there was a personal association with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who associated Raghunath Das Goswami, who then came to Vrindavan, who narrated what happened had happened in Jagannath Puri, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then quite immediately after that, as Krishna Das Kaviraj writes down what Raghunath Das Goswami is telling. So quite immediately it's written down and preserved. And there's even text still left, written by, I think, Rupa Goswami. I think I saw that in the BLC, Bhaktivinoda Research Center in Calcutta. And now we have Srila Prabhupada, so we have all these tape recordings and whatever, and it's written down and stored in various ways. So then some academics said that is very good, because that way they know what did Prabhupada say. We have one problem. When the books were dictated by Prabhupada, that's a problem. The tapes were recycled. Because if they, as an efficient way, we didn't think of them, maybe Prabhupada didn't thought that would be, otherwise if you would have saved the tapes, then you could go back to the tapes and then compare, how you could go on. But now you don't have the original tapes to refer to. I think you have it in relationship to Krishna book. I think in Krishna book there is the tapes of Prabhupada dictating, you can hear, then you can read the Krishna book and see how they have edited or done, so to say. But with the others, unfortunately, the tapes are not left, because they were recycled and sent back to Prabhupada, then Prabhupada was recording anew. viewpoint like that. But still, there's so much. So that is a legacy that's difficult to change. So we're standing on a solid foundation in many ways. And then there is certainly devotees who are very serious and sincerely preaching and pushing and promoting the chanting and maybe also finding out different ways of preaching. But still, you can have different ways of preaching, but at one point it kind of gets back to basic things that maybe works at best. Now we have all this internet, you can have all this internet, but if you go into the internet, as far as I understand, there's so many things that it's hard to make your voice heard on the internet. But if you go on the street and make a Harinam, then it's a very direct contact. Once again, a powerful weapon in the direct personal contact with people. One to one on the Sunday feast or on the street or at the outcome like that. Okay, so it will not stop. There's too many sincere devotees in this movement. There's so much backup in terms of books, and then also Prabhupada is in the background. As far as I'm concerned, his spiritual is still in the background, looking after us. Well, not just exactly for the written word, but in different ways also. It looks like he sometimes makes himself heard to the devotees, maybe through dreams or in other ways also. Okay? Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment? Good. Okay. I will give a class tonight also.
What about tomorrow?
I know I booked a train that leaves 8:45 from Copenhagen Lufthaven. So that was easy. I take a metro from Bandlösa to the Lufthaven, back us up and get on the train there. That was, we found that was like the best, cheapest and direct, and then I'm hungry somewhere 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, good. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.